Hi everyone, Dallas Piana. See if this is working. Make sure that it's working. Hi everyone, Dallas Piana. It is. Great. Look how red my lipstick is. Ooh, wow. Okay. Red lipstick today. Anyway, today I'm so excited because what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about why your message frequency is critical, and I'm going to show you how to make it work for you. Okay. Everyone complains about, complains about, what do I write about? What do I write about? That's my timer to hop on. So what I put together was I saw something at another person's presentation, something I had bought, and I thought, it really just works for everyone. The visual of it. What I'm going to show you, where it shows, frequency, repetition of topics over and over and over again. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And I put a little presentation together so you can see what I'm talking about here. Let's see if I can bring this up and bring this down and open this up. And let me just get it into why isn't there a presentation mode? I guess they took that away. Slideshow. Let's see what happens. Okay. So we already talked about so know that someone's desire cannot be created. Okay, we can't create it for them. The desire to purchase something from us, the desire to lose weight, the desire to build a business. We can only, direct them in the right way. Okay, so there's this famous copywriter. His name is Eugene Schwartz, very famous copywriter for commercials. And he said, desire cannot be created, can only be channeled. Okay. So really, what does that mean? We are channeling existing desires of our ideal clients in the right direction towards our offer. And our offer are our products and services, our programs. What do they already want? What do they already want? So if you remember the client's journey, the 5 levels of awareness, they're not aware, they're problem aware, right? They know they've got a problem. They know that there's a solution out there. They're now looking at products to solve their solution, and then they purchase, right? So that's like the journey. So what do they already want is really what we want to look at. What do they already want? What does your ideal client want? Okay. So when you know just 3 to 5 things of what your market wants, you'll never run out of ideas of what to write about. That's why we do the customer research, right? We go in and we start asking questions to find out what are their challenges, but what is it that they want, right? What is the outcome they want? What are the desires they want? Okay. And if you could just put together 3 to 5 major desires of your market, you're never going to run out of things to write about. Okay. Let's see, anybody on here yet? It doesn't matter. There'll be a ton of people watching the replay, so that's fine. Okay. So let's look at magazines. Okay. Their advertisement, the cover photo, cover image is telling you exactly what is inside this magazine. Now, I started with Good Housekeeping because we've all seen a Good Housekeeping magazine in some part of our lives, either in our mother's house, at a girlfriend's house, at the doctor's office, dentist's office, whatever. We picked up a Good Housekeeping magazine. So we're all familiar with it. Okay. So what are the 5 desires of the woman who buys Good Housekeeping? What are they looking for inside that magazine? So basically, the 5 desires for this magazine are style and fashion, weight loss and health, food and cooking, love, relationship advice, and beauty. So let's look at all the headlines here and see if we can pick out the 5 desires over here. Okay, so we start with fabulous spring ideas, fashion you'll love, fashion. Okay, protect your brain power. Here's what experts do. So that's really about health, right? Hot topic, who's caring for the carer? So that's like relationship, right? So it's really relationships. Okay, who's caring for you? Cash savvy seekers of the younger generation really doesn't fall into any of these. Let's move down. Recipes, food and cooking. Live your best life. Start right here, right now. Pretty much it could be any of this, right? We don't know what it's actually targeting, but it could be anything. Then we get into, this gal up here, bold, brilliant, and beautiful. I mean, that could be anything, style and fashion. It could just be who she is in life. It's an article about her. Okay. So if you see majority of these, at least 4 out of the 5 desires are on this cover photo. And therefore the articles are reflecting these headlines, right? To draw you in. Okay, so this is a Britain 2020. Here's one, Good Housekeeping. It's an American one. I don't know the date on this, but again, style and fashion, weight loss and health, food, cooking, love, relation, advice, and beauty. So let's go through this. Spring meal ideas, food and cooking. Best drugstore beauty, or it could be style and fashion. New storage solutions is kind of like off. We could actually probably put in here, home, right? Makeover with Drew Barrymore, a makeover. So we'll go into beauty. It could also be style and fashion. Who she is, what she's all about. So probably about her relationship advice. And then here's try and tested, bedding, cookware. So it could fall into food and cooking, okay, or style, okay, because they're talking about what are tried and tested, okay. So basically, again, 4 out of the 5 are listed on the cover here. And you'll see articles inside this magazine that will only talk about these 5 desires that they know their ideal client, their ideal customer that picks up a Good Housekeeping magazine will read about. Let's move on to the next. So again, I'm just talking about it over and over again. They're just repeating those 5 desires with every publication that goes out. They're shifting what they're talking about regarding food and cooking. They're shifting about fashion and style. But if you see, the 5 desires are kind of headlines that are in the body of the magazine. Okay. So here's another one. I don't know where this one, I think this is an American one as well. So again, the 5 desires exactly the same. Let's see if we can find them. 20-minute meals, food and cooking, stews, cooking, pizza, all over here. Buy now, wear forever. So it could be style and fashion. It could be beauty. Find your perfect jeans, style and fashion. She's talking about from shy kid to sassy TV star. It could be about her relationship, of who she's becoming, dry skin. We can do beauty here. Winter slim down, weight loss and health. So again, do you see the same desires are being shifted with different headlines, and they're being written from a different angle, but there's nothing new here. It's the same thing, only a different way of presenting it each time. That's what I want you to think about when you're coming up with your own 3 to 5 desires of your ideal client. Those are the things you always write about. Those are the things you always talk about. Those are the things that your ideal client is craving. Okay, so let's go on to another one. Here's the Women's Running Magazine. Different desires. Get in shape, injury prevention and fixes, clothing and tools, technique and mindset, nutrition and healthy tips. So let's look. Exercise, get in shape. Watches, tools. Run wild and free is the major one, right? So maybe that could even be like mindset. What's it like to run 130 miles through the heart of the Holy Land? So that is like pretty much probably, we could even say, someone's journey, right? Beginner guide to trails. So technique, 10 best shoes. We get into clothing, how to run on any terrain, technique. Go nuts, new ideas for healthy fats, food. Is food here? Yeah, nutrition and healthy tips. See, five desires they're writing about. So here we are. What, I don't know what month this is, but I picked up another one. Same 5 desires. Here it is, runners again. Fully fit, get in shape. Total body workout, shape. Get faster, longer, avoid injury prevention. Healthiest winter foods, nutrition and health. Run your way happy, boost your mood, mindset. Stuck in a training rut, mindset. New routine, technique. New brain, no pain. Again, technique, mindset set. Maybe it's the fixes for injury prevention. Beginner, stick with it, tips. Technique, mantra powers. Say this when you run into trouble, mindset. Again, the 5 same desires, themes, topics are being talked about month after month after month. Nothing new here, but just positioned from a different angle as far as how are we going to talk about food? How are we going to talk about nutrition? How are we going to talk about technique or mindset? Okay, let's see. Let's go on. Again, over and over again, something that's relevant, entertaining, or educational. Here's another running magazine. Let me just pull this up so I can see what's going on here. Okay, so here we go. So again, the exact same 5 desires. Okay, shape, injury and prevention, fixes, clothing, tools, technique, mindset, nutrition, health. So let's find them. Bras, so that's clothing. 6 best exercises, technique, injury proof, injury prevention, assault on camp, 1 run, the story. So you can also add here journeys, right? Run strong, stay cool. So the technique, how to stay cool when you run. 3 reasons your weight doesn't matter. So maybe it could be nutrition and health. Perfect gear for your body, clothing. Again, you see, they're just staying within the bounds of the five desires. They're really not going out except to talk about a story, someone's journey. Okay, so we could add that as well. Okay, so we did good housekeeping, women's running. So now let's do here. I took the same, this is Shape Magazine. I took the 5 same desires to see if we could find them here. Flat abs fast. So technique, eat this and burn more fat. Food, exercise, why you should get your daily dose. Technique could be mindset, health, instant energy, could be health, technique, how she lost 30 pounds. So probably nutrition and health, technique, walk your way slim, nutrition, technique, our super calorie torching plan is another technique. So basically it's, and bikini countdown. So that could be clothing, right? 30 days to your best body ever could be technique, also get in shape. So again, not really going outside the bounds of the 5 desires. Now, I have 2 magazine covers showing natural health. Okay, the desires are a little different. Therapy, beauty, wellness, meditation, escape. Here, and they list them right up here. So basically, love your age, feel younger, find purpose, and thrive. So could be wellness, right? Therapies, tapping therapy to overcome your fears, therapies. A diet, the dosha diet. So it could be wellness. Yoga therapies could be into meditations as well. 10 easy way to reclaim your confidence. Wellness could be meditation. Trust your voice and live the life you desire. Wellness. Balance your chakras and acupuncture. So again, therapies. So there's a lot of therapies going on here. And then here, eat your way to better skin, your menopause survival kit, simple ways to help the planet. So basically, the desires are all encapsulated in the magazine, okay? They're really not going outside the bounds. And I have another one from here, Natural Health, the holistic experts and writers, okay? Create your dream life with the power of your mind, wellness, strike a balance, healthier bodies, recipes, wellness, we could even do food down here, okay? Mindfulness, wellness, ease back pain with this kind of therapies, best spas. So it could be meditation, escapes. But again, the same thing is being written over and over and over again because they have identified exactly what the ideal client desires. What do they want to listen about? And you just talk about it, write about it in a different way every time you write. Okay. Now on Facebook, it's different. You can't go every once a month, and you cannot go. Let me just unshare for a moment. You cannot go once a month without posting, because it's moving too fast. Okay. That you need to be posting at least 5 times a week, sometimes 7 times a week. And in the beginning, even more, to kind of nurture your audience until they get to see who you are and what you're all about. So you want to take those 3 to 5 topics. I say 5 at least, okay, sometimes 7, 5 topics. And how are you going to go out those topics and get your message across? Are you going to use pro tips? Are you going to use strategies? Are you going to talk about the tactics? Are you going to talk about the mindset? Are you going to talk about how are you going to approach it? Okay. But basically you're only talking about 5 things over and over and over again. Okay. For me, it's attraction, building an audience, nurturing an audience, converting that audience, and success stories, things like that. And then promotions, okay? Promotions on products and services, okay? Over and over and over again, okay? Because you also, if you are generating leads, right, attracting people to you every day, you've got new people coming in, they've never read your stuff. So what you posted perhaps 3 months ago, they have not seen, you can repost that because the people from 3 months ago have generally moved on. At least the people from a year ago, most people have moved on. Not everyone, but a lot of people they say they'd stay 3 to 6 months with you in a Facebook group and then they're on to something else. The attention span is not, is like minuscule, right? So you've got to hold their attention. And the best way is to take your 5 topics, your 5 themes, and just reposition them with different ways of writing about it and giving away the information in different ways. Okay. Now let's go back. Where are we? Can I go? Here we go. I think that was, let's see, is that it? Okay. So what are your 3 to 5 things that your market desires? So I want you, if you're on here or watching the replay, don't think about it, just write it down. You know what they want. What do they want? Okay. Just write them down. 3 to 5 things. What do they want? What kind of outcome do they want? What kind of result do they want? Okay. And don't write, well, they don't want this. Well, what do they want? What is the desired outcome? Think in the positive framework. Paint a picture of it, vivid picture of what it's going to look like when they have it. What is it? Okay. 3 to 5 things. And that's what you start writing about over and over and over again. Now for you, you're going to be bored and you're going to think, oh my God, there's so much repetition going on here. But remember, it takes anywhere from 12 to 18 touch points. Touch points are contacts with your material before someone will even consider buying your product or program or service. Okay, very small percentage will only look at something once from you and buy it. Okay, they need constant touch points, constant reading your information, you're watching your lives before they decide that your invitation is right for them. Okay. So what are your three, if you want to write down go ahead and write them down right there in the comments below. What are your 3 to 5 things your market desires? What are they? What are they? Okay, so I have an invitation next Wednesday. We're doing something special. We're doing our Q2. It's our second quarter of the year, 2022. We're doing a planning workshop. Okay, so we'll go through, it'll be about an hour, hour and a half tops. It'll be through Zoom. There will be replays if you can't make it. Okay. And we're going to look at, I'm going to help you set up your financial goals for the next quarter. So the next quarter is April, May, and June. April, May, June. Okay. What are your financial goals? And then how to break it down of what's in your product suite and what's your value ladder. And then we're going to map out what you need to put in place for the next 3 months to make those income goals. Okay. And then I'll show you my tracking, how I track it myself. Okay. So people love this. I already think we have 50 people registered. So, if you want to register, I'll put the link in the description above this video in the description box so you can register. And the reason why I want to register you is I want to remind you it's coming up. I won't bombard you with emails, but I'll get you off of the other emails that so you're not constantly reminded about the workshop, or you're not seeing the promotions to the workshop. Okay, it'll make it simple for yourself. And I think that's it. All right, you guys, any questions? I'm going to stop sharing my screen. If you're on here and you have any questions, just shoot them below in the below this live video. Say hi. Oh, good. Hi, Jasmine. Recipe fitness tips. What else? Do you have 2 more? 2 more desires? What are the desires of your ideal client? Okay. And then what kind of specific recipes? Like what's your expertise? What is your modality of recipes? Are they gluten-free? Are they without sugar? Is it just plant-based? What specifically do you write about? What are they desiring? Do they want meals under 30 minutes? Do they want, what do you serve for Easter or Christmas or things like that, right? Fitness tips. Okay. Something like an hour workout, a 15-minute workout, workout at the office during your lunch break. I mean, there's all kinds of things that can go underneath fitness tips that you can write about. But let's get you up to 3 to 5 desires of what your ideal client wants. And then underneath it, write about all the different things you could write about underneath that topic, okay, of what they desire. And you will never, ever run out of things to write about, for sure. Okay, you guys, this is one of my favorite. Oh, clean eating with less sugar. Okay, good. Yeah. So what does that look like? What's less sugar look like, right? Right now I'm on no sugar at all. But, oh, good. There's 6 comments here and I don't even see them. Hi, Janine. Haven't seen you in a long time. Hope you're well. Hi, Mary. So Mary, current facts about their finances, break it down into topics specifically around finances, okay? So finance is a very broad category. What are the subtopics that people want to know about their finances, okay? So break it down, and then under each one of those desires of what they want, what can you write about? Just write down like 3 or 5 things underneath each topic, what you can write about, okay? And then you create content, right? Information, educational, inspirational information around each one of those contents. Let's see, stress management. Okay, good. So stress management, then that's a very broad category, but fine. It's one of the desires. They want to be managed. So what do they want? Instead of stress management, what do they want? They want what? Calmness, peace. Okay, they want to relieve themselves of stress. So what would go underneath that you could write about? All things nutrition. Okay, good. No sound. You're kidding. All things nutrition. Okay, good. All right. Sound came back. Okay. All right. So you guys take the time to just break it out. What are your 3 to 5 desires? And then underneath each desire, what can you write about? And then you want to be posting, if you're using Facebook, you want to be posting about 5 times a week on your topics. Okay. You'll never run out of it. You want the frequency. It's the repetition again of people, your ideal clients, seeing you over and over and over again, that they're getting a relationship with you. They're starting to trust you. They're starting to gain credit, seeing you're credible, right? And so when you do make an offer, when you do put out there an invitation to work with you, they're raising their hand and saying yes. Okay. But everyone is on their own journey of where they are, from A to get to B. Okay. But the point of advertising your program, your coaching program, you've got to be advertising through content every single day, showing who you are. All right, you guys, you know how to get a contact of me. See you in the DMs. I'll see you next week on the workshop. For those of you that signed up, fantastic. Again, like I said, I'll put the link into the description box. Be sure to register so that you're not bombarded with more promotions about the workshop. Okay, bye everyone. Have a great evening, a week.